Summary of Chronicle of a Death Foretold by Gabriel García Márquez. In a small town on the northern coast of Colombia, the morning after the biggest wedding the town has ever seen, a local man named Santiago Nassar is brutally killed outside his own front door. Pablo and Pedro Vicario, who are twins and the bride's older brothers, are the ones who did it. Angela's husband, the handsome Bayardo San Roman, gave her back to her parents a few hours before the murder when he found out she wasn't a virgin as he had thought. Pablo and Pedro use fear to get Angela to tell them the name of the person who raped her. She tells them it was Santiago Nassar, maybe on a whim or maybe for real. The twins decide to kill him to protect the honor of their sister and their family. They tell everyone who will listen about their plans, so Santiago is one of the last people to find out that his life is in danger. Some people in the town try to stop the murder but fail, others are too scared to do anything, and others want Santiago dead. Most people just don't care about the threat until it's too late. The murder happened many years ago. The narrator is an old friend of Santiago's and a distant cousin of the Vicario family. He or she has come back to the town to try to figure out what is going on. He gathers the stories of bystanders and other people in the town so that he can get a clear picture of what happened before the murder that seems to have no reason. In fact, the story he tells does not go in order. Instead, the narrator jumps back and forth between the murder and what happened before and after it. The storyteller starts by telling about Santiago's last few hours on Earth. On the morning he is killed, he wakes up early because the bishop is coming to town, and he and a lot of other people want to meet him. He doesn't seem to realize how dangerous things are getting for him. Even though he meets a lot of people, like his cook and her daughter, who knows the Vicario twins are trying to kill him, no one tells him to be careful. On the water, the bishop goes by without stopping. As Santiago walks home, the twins Vicario chase him and kill him with a knife at his front door. But before he goes into depth about the murder, the narrator tells the story of how Angela and Bayardo met and got married. Bayardo is not a member of the society. One day, he shows up on a boat going upriver, seemingly out of nowhere. He is handsome and charming, and he spends his money in a very showy way, which shows that he has a lot of it. He sees Angela Vicario, a young woman from a poor, very traditional family, one day and tells her right away that he wants to marry her. After some worry, the Vicario family agrees to what he wants to do. They accept more or less for Angela, who doesn't have a choice and doesn't love Bayardo. Angela was raised in a strict Catholic home, but her family has no idea that she is not a virgin. On the day of the wedding, Bayardo, who is paying for everything, pulls out all the stops. The whole town throws the rowdiest, most drunken party anyone has ever seen. The narrator and Santiago both go. As the party goes on late into the night, Bayardo takes Angela to their new house, where he finds out she is not a virgin. He gives her back to her parents early in the morning because he is so angry. Angela's mother, Persima del Carmen, beats her badly and calls Angela's boys, who are still out partying, back to the house. When they question her, she says that Santiago Nassar took away her virginity. Pedro and Pablo Vicario decide to kill Santiago to protect their family's honor. They take the two best knives from their pigsty and sharpen them in front of all the butchers who are setting up shop at the local meat market. They tell everyone that Santiago is going to be killed. Butchers mostly ignore them because they think they are drunk. From the meat market, the twins walk across the street to Clotilde Armenta's milk shop to keep an eye on Santiago's house. They tell everyone in the shop, including Clotilde, what they plan to do. Almost no one takes them seriously, but when Colonel Lazaro Aponte hears about their plan, he takes away their knives. The twins just get new knives and go back to Clotilde's shop. They wait for the light in Santiago's room to come on, but it never does. The narrator says that when Santiago got home, he went to bed without turning on the light. The storyteller jumps ahead to the days after Santiago's death. He talks in horrible detail about the sloppy autopsy that was done on Santiago's body. He talks about how the Vicario twins were caught and had to wait 3 years for their trial because they couldn't pay bail. In the end, they were found not guilty based on the thesis of homicide in legitimate defense of honor. The Vicario family left town, and Bayardo's family had to drag him away while he was drunk and almost dead. Angela Vicario is the person the narrator talks about the most. He tells her that she fell deeply and strangely in love with him after Bayardo turned her down. She was a seamstress and wrote to him almost every day for years. Her letters went ignored until old and fat Bayardo showed up at her door. The narrator ends his story by telling everything about the murder. He talks about why he thinks Santiago had nothing to do with Angela, even though she says he took her virginity. Because of this, he never understood why he died. After seeing the bishop go by, Santiago sees his friend Cristo Bedoya and talks with him for a while. After they part ways, a friend tells Cristo Bedoya that Santiago's life is being threatened. Cristo leaves to find Santiago, but he can't find him. The narrator says that Santiago has gone into the house of his fiancée, Flora Miguel. There, Nahir, Flora's dad, tells Santiago about the danger he is in. Santiago runs into the main square, where a lot of people are standing. Santiago runs around in circles until he finds his way to the front door, where the Vicario twins are chasing him. Placida Linero, Santiago's mother, thinks he is already inside, so she locks the door. Santiago is trapped behind a locked door by the twin Vicario, who stabbed him several times before running away. Santiago falls down dead in his kitchen after stumbling through his neighbor's house to get to his back door.
About the author. Gabriel García Márquez grew up in a small, rural town in Colombia called Arequipa. It is in the eastern part of the country. He and his parents lived in the big house that belonged to his mom's parents. His grandfather, Nicolas Márquez, was a colonel who fought in the War of 1,000 Days, a civil war that split Colombia around the turn of the century. When Gabriel was a child, he often told Gabriel stories from his grandpa's life. When Nicolas died, his family moved to a river port on the Caribbean coast called Barranquilla. Márquez got a great education, and he finally got his law degree. He became a journalist and worked as a foreign reporter for several newspapers. He lived in Rome, Paris, Barcelona, Bogota, Caracas, New York City, and Mexico City because of his work. Along with his work as a writer, he wrote a few short stories and 3 novels. However, it wasn't until 1967, when his masterpiece, 100 Years of Solitude, came out, that his fiction became well known in the literary world. That book was an epic that took place over many generations and told the story of a small, made-up town called Macondo. It was an instant hit and started a real literary boom in Latin America. Authors like Mario Vargas Llosa, Carlos Fuentes, Isabel Allende, and Roberto Boleo were among those who wrote during this time. After 1967, Márquez focused mostly on writing fiction. He went on to write 7 novels, such as Autumn of the Patriarch, 1975, and Love in the Time of Cholera, 1985, 2 collections of short stories, and 7 non-fiction books. He lived in Spain, Mexico City, Paris, and Havana during the last half of his life. In 1982, he was given the Nobel Prize in Literature. He died in 2014.
Hope we summarized it fully and you liked it. Please hit the like button and subscribe to our channel so that we are motivated to create more videos.